Well, when the car was first brought out, as you say, there were many radical features: the inboard suspension, the gear drive transmission, moulded tub chassis. All these things were new at the time. They're not totally new, of course. They were taken from full-size motorsport, and the benefits we felt that applied in full-size motorsport would apply equally with the model. So these features were analysed, and each of them we thought would give an advantage to a radio-controlled model car. And with various testing, we proved to ourselves that we felt this was the right way to go. And the car was designed with these features in at the beginning. One of the things we sort of since learned, and we probably didn't give enough credence to in the early days, was that the car needed a great deal more strength than we realised. We were new to the sport. I only did it as a hobby, and to actually see a full race with 10 cars in, they do have to stand some punishment. So really the basic design of the car has stayed because the inbuilt advantages are there in the design right from the beginning. But we've brought it along, we've improved the efficiency of the design, and most of all, with the new model, the XK5, we've made the car much stronger.
Hi, my name's William Mitcham and I run a Losi XX. I believe the single most important reason why the car is as good as it is the fact that it's so user-friendly towards the racers. It's very easy to dial the car into every track we race on, whether we're racing on grass in the UK or in dirt as we would in California or America. The car is very robust, which makes it a popular choice with club racers. They can give the car a hard time and it still doesn't break, which I think is important at the level of racing which we're trying to interest people in, the grassroots. Principally, my car is as standard, which you could buy from your local model shop. The main difference is we spend a bit more time with the transmission of the car. We try and lighten the car by having an aluminium motor plate, and then we try to pick up some extra drive out of the corners by using the MIP drive shafts, which are slightly smoother and give the car more progressive, smoother acceleration in low traction conditions. But apart from that, the car's standard, apart from a few small additional tweaks such as different springs and changing the shock oil and pistons to suit various track conditions. At the moment, I'm finding there's very little difference in driving the Predator XK5 and the Losi XX. They're both cars that handle in a similar way in the respect that I set them both up to have a slight degree of oversteer, so in that respect they both have a similar attitude in cornering, that the car will progressively break away, which is the style of driving I like. But the main difference really is the fact that the four-wheel drive car has a slightly quicker acceleration out of the corners. But apart from that, there's very little difference, I believe. When I prepare for a big race, the week before I like to have a relaxed week at home, and I like to spend each day of the week getting a certain element of the car ready, whether it's the motors, the batteries, the car. Each night is dedicated to a certain part of the car. And I like to make sure, two of the important things I believe is you must be awake at the race meeting, so to get to bed early I think is important, and not to go out and have too much to drink I think is also vital before a race meeting. But apart from that, it's just getting the car ready, so if the car's reliable and I feel confident my driving's good, I'm happy. My biggest piece of advice to anyone starting off-road racing would be not to run before you can walk. The saddest thing I see in model car racing is kids who go along to a race meeting, and nowadays, unlike before, you can go and spend money at a model shop and buy the performance which we as sponsored drivers have, and as beginners they can't handle the extra power and extra facilities that they can provide themselves by opening their checkbooks. And it's so sad to see drivers coming along after 1 or 2 years giving up because they're being pushed either by their fathers or they're being frustrated by a lack of results purely because they haven't given themselves the time to race. I think that I've been racing for 11 years now, and I feel it's taken me 6 or 7 years to get very good at model car racing, and it's something that you have to persist at rather than expect to happen overnight.
Hello there, my name's Richmond Rogers. I race an Associated RC10 B2. The reason why I like racing the car so much is it's very easy to drive, very light and nimble, quick around the corners, very strong and very easy to work on. Anybody buying an RC10 B2 Sport, the first recommendation I would say would be to bull race the car. The car is very good in a standard setup anyway, so there's nothing they need to get it racing anyway. The difference between top drivers and club racers, I believe, is mainly experience. Knowing what to do in certain situations on the track, and especially being able not to crash. That's what makes people good under pressure. There's lots of people that I think are very good, especially on their day. there's probably 10 people that I could name that could easily win a world championship. So there isn't really anybody, I believe, who's better than anybody else. There'd be two pieces of advice that I would say to a beginner. One is, don't take racing too seriously, enjoy it as much as you can. And the other one is, read Radio Race Car.
Yeah, there have been some highs and lows. It's quite an expensive business to get into. A great deal of finance is needed for the sort of tooling and investment that you need to get a car off the ground. The racing side is, of course, very important to the commercial side, so there is an overlap between those two subjects. The racing highs have very much been when Brian Kinwald won at the Winter Nationals, and subsequently that was important commercially because at that very time we were trying to break into the American market. So that was a good day from both sides of the coin. In the future we hope to develop the range of technology and to spread our wings so that we become more and more well known right across the world.